My name is Abdul.
My name is Christian.
My name is Christian.
Our topic is the value of big data. So we want to emphasize that we're not trying to invoke or use the same ideas from net neutrality. I'm not basically another Indian guy here to tell you that. So just want to let you know.
Okay, so what is big data? Big data is essentially a massive amount of data collected by companies used for various reasons, and that could include them answering questions about their customers to improve on their business, and also creating new products geared towards those customers. And the problem with this is that it invades on people's privacy. Most people don't know that these companies are collecting information on them, and that what happens, their information is really being kept secure. So what happens if their information is leaked or exposed? That could be really detrimental and could lead to issues such as data discrimination.
So we broke down the economic and financial impact into 3 different sectors. So the first one is undervaluing information, the second one is losing financial opportunities, and the last one is discrimination. Let's get into undervaluing information. So when it comes to this, not a lot of people understand how much their data is basically worth, right? So when it comes to that, people don't understand there's actually no correct algorithm to figure out how much your data is actually worth, and that's why people don't understand. When Facebook had about 2.1 trillion monetized data in 2010. And another thing is that they were making about $597 billion as of today. And the thing is that they're making twice as more. They're expected to make twice as more because of the amount of data they have. The next one is losing financial opportunities. When it comes to our generation and older people, they don't understand that they could. Sorry about that. They don't know how to invest their money into those different types of data sets. So, for example, blockchain is a great way, or even investing into stocks. So, for example, you can invest to Google, Facebook, or all these different types of databases. The biggest one as of right now is Cisco, and they're really great at it. So this was a survey taken back in 2013. So 73% of people were opposed to companies using your data basically to help advertise their companies. And then 68% were opposed to them taking your history and giving it to third-party apps. But in reality, 100% of every single company pretty much use your data. There's never a single second in which a company does not use your data. And that's a huge problem. Not a lot of people know that. So discrimination. So not a lot of people know about this. When it comes to discrimination, there's basically boundaries. And companies are not understanding those boundaries, and we have to emphasize those. So here's an image. The black and white photo is from Black Belt in Chicago in the 1900s. And basically it's representing the black African community in the background in those small compact apartments, right? But then the houses up front, those are meant for white people. Thing is that they never marketed these type of housing, the really big ones, to black African Americans. And the thing is, if you look back this is a current day photo of Chicago, it's still the same exact thing. They're only marketing these smaller houses to black African communities, and they're basically putting all the black African communities in just one place. And one company is that there's banks out there that basically does the same type of concept. So they would only provide the really good opportunities to a specific group because they're expected to have more money than those other groups. So this is happening all around the world. It's not just here, just in America. It's happening in African American communities, the LGBTQ community, women's activists, those type of communities, African American, Mexican, and even Muslims. Our solution is to enforce structural changes in the market to increase competition. So what I mean is that if we can have smaller companies out there instead of having third-party developers or companies from Russia, for example, or other countries that are not safe containing data due to political corruption. And the second one is directly regulating big data platforms to prohibit harmful practice. So we have different types of government facilities, such as the federal bureau that can dictate what is good and bad. Where can this data be sold to and where it can't be sold to? Because as of right now, your data is being sold to different black markets. And the last one is strengthening user control for personal data. So when it comes to that, we want to make sure that everyone has this, same opportunity. They understand what their data is. When you're clicking that yes for terms and agreement, people don't understand that side. Oh, what's inside of this terms and agreement? What is the rules? What are things that this company can't do, can do? But the thing is, nobody reads this and nobody cares. So the company just goes off without even asking you, just sells it. That's our citation.
Questions? All right.
Nichola at University. What would happen to Facebook and these other similar companies if everybody clicked a little box that said you cannot sell any of my information to anyone ever at any time for any reason?
Well, it's the same type of thing where it's like it's an idea of free trade. We're giving them our data for exchange for services, right? So when you're giving your data to Facebook, for example, you're giving them your data so you can go through other people's social medias and friends with them, accept friend requests. But the thing is that if companies were able to do that and have that terms and conditions, then there would be no real, platform to exchange data. Thing is it can't really be possible because everywhere's data. As of right now in this building, there's a bunch of, there's millions of dollars in this building right now that we don't know about. So in reality, you can't really say that. It's not possible. But if that were to happen, then companies like Facebook would not exist.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? No, sorry.
Gabriel.
I like your, Gabe Guy from Cincinnati Bank. I like your example of attacking structural barriers, right? And what can I be doing as an individual consumer differently? Because I'm part of the problem. I accept all these services and fork over my data.
Okay, what can you do?
What can I do?
What can you do as an individual? So, to be honest, I'd be more careful what you do on the internet. That's what everyone says. That's literally the most basic answer. But I feel like it's not the best option. What you can do is make sure that what you're signing up for is correct. That you firmly believe that what this company is holding and saying that it's correct, right? So you go on Twitter, for example. You hear all these different types of tweets about companies from Google, from Facebook, and let me ask you a question. Do you believe what they're doing?
Do I believe?
That's a real question, right?
Yeah. Do you believe what they're doing?
I'm not taking the questions. No, certainly there's a lot of bad behavior out there. Right?
So I would just make sure what you're putting out there is correct and good. Obviously, because you don't want to be putting anything out there that's really bad. But make sure that where your money's going, where your idea is going, where all your information is going is safe. And